All right, I'm going to talk on a topic today that came up earlier this week. So I hope that I do some good with it. It was interesting enough to me that I wanted to share it. Some of you may not like it, so feel free to turn off your set now. But y'all know me. If you know me for long, you know I'll go on a vacation and be happy and put on weight, and then I'll have something come up that, hey, your blood sugar is high, so I'll go on a diet and lose weight. It's not a big thing. I actually kind of enjoy it. Over the years, I've gotten where I either give all my clothes away or I just keep a fat closet and a skinny closet, which makes me happy as well. All that was said to go into this. Somebody was very polite and complimented and said, oh my gosh, how'd you lose all the weight in the last couple months, blah, 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 blah. And I told him the basic answer. The reality is you eat less and exercise. I go, what do you mean? I go, every diet in the world has the same components if it actually works. You can have all this fancy stuff, all these little guides, and I love them and God bless them because those things help you get there. How about one of the silly wristbands just for whatever trick helps you? But at the end of the day, only one diet works. It's eat less than 1,500 calories a day, preferably less than 1,000, and sweat for 30 minutes a day. If you do that, no matter what triggers get you there, or tricks or other things, you're going to lose weight and you're going to get healthier. And the person politely made the comment that, how do you do that? How do you fight through? Especially those first couple of days where you have the headache and you feel weak and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, I guess the reality is the secret to losing weight when you want to is self-discipline. And this read me through. I'd read a little book a while back and other things. And I don't want to get lost too much here because I don't want to be too high horse. And I cannot stress to you enough that there's a lot of hypocrisy in what I will say, because you can't seek to achieve and do it every time. You're going to fall, you're going to drop, but that's another story. I truly believe in the core of my heart that the most important element to success, and I'm going to say this, and then because it's too broad and I don't want to overly offend, I'm going to jump back to just sales. I truly believe the most important element to success in any aspect of life, and I'm talking about your religion, I'm talking about your schooling, I'm talking about running your business, keeping your business, raising your kids, whatever it is, the number one is self-discipline. Even in the pure areas, the beauty areas, love, it still takes self-discipline to be there. Now that said, I'm going to leave that alone because that's a little heavier question than most really care to hear from this. I'm just going to say this. In the world of sales, nothing is more than self-discipline. That person with all the skill, that person with all the talent, that person with all the ability that has what we will oversimplify by saying call reluctance. You know how you get that? Everyone has that. Everyone has call reluctance. Call reluctance, guess what that means? It means you are awake. Guess what? Half the time, I've got it in my sleep. If you have a lot of anxiety about a deal, you fall asleep stressed about it on your mind. You know what your brain does? It's part of the focus as it randomly filters through the day. So you have call reluctance and stress about that call in your sleep, and it hangs through. There's no way to get around that. I know it stinks, but it's part of. Let's not get lost on sleep study right now. Let's just stick with the call reluctance. How do you overcome it? Self-discipline. Are there tricks? Are there snippets? Have I covered over the years little things to help you? Absolutely. Absolutely. If something works for you, and what works for you, by the way, ain't going to work forever. You got to change it up. It's just like if you're following a fad diet, follow it while it works, then jump to the next one because you got to shift it up. Your body gets used to it. Your laziness, your selfish desires, sinful lust, flesh, blah, 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 overcomes. If it's snap a rubber band, if it's counting your calls, if it's what I always like to clicker, if it's, this is the reward, give yourself the carrot stick thing, which doesn't really work that well, but that's another story. Whatever it is, find the trick that helps you hold there. But at the end of it, the trick is just a little ploy. The trick is just a minor crutch. The crutch cannot make you walk. The crutch can only help you walk. It takes self-discipline to get there. How do you get better at your sales presentation? Self-discipline. I cannot tell you how many people I've had come in for training and I've said, here's the basic thing. You will not be great at it until you've done it 1,000 times. You're not even going to be worth a dang at it until you've done it 200 times. You need to practice with somebody other than my incredibly expensive leads until you've done it a minimum of 200 times and preferably 1,000. Go to your neighbors, go to your friends, go to your family, go to anybody that owes you. If you have no one, sit in front of a friggin' mirror and go through it an absolute minimum of 200 times. I've said this to franchisees, I've said this to employees, I've said this to people in other fields that have asked advice. I promise you, less than 1% have ever done it. Oh, you bet, whatever, and they blow it off. They don't have the self-discipline to do the strokes in the practice. They don't have the self-discipline to go, oh, golf sucks because I'm terrible at it. You're terrible at it because the guys you watch that you know that you like have swung a club over 10,000 times, which is what it takes just to not be terrible at it. So quit or have the self-discipline to swing it 10,000 times, which, by the way, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to have the self-discipline to succeed in an area you don't care about. But if you want to succeed, it takes it. It requires it. And by the way, self-discipline is not light on and light off. It's absolute blatant none, total complete sloth, superstar ridiculous, king of the world, athlete, whatever, I don't know. And by the way, there's 50,000 million areas in life and there's not enough time to own all of them. So don't get lost here. Just sales. When you're hurting, when you're struggling, when you're fighting, how's my presentation, how's my this? It takes self-discipline. When you have call reluctance, it takes self-discipline. When you need to make the calls, when you've got to get them in, when you have to follow up, it takes self-discipline. Being willing to anger the bank, being willing to anger the designer, being willing to anger your coworkers. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully in all those cases, it's non-conflict and it's fun, it's easy. But better you upset them by having the discipline to ask and to push and to fight for your deal. Then you sit there and, well, I don't want any conflict, and you let it sit and you lose your deal. Enough. I could go for hours. Enough. I hope this meant something to you. If it did, then you've already extrapolated out more than I'm going to cover. If it didn't, then thanks for staying this long. Appreciate y'all so much. God bless. Have a wonderful day.